This is all you have to know about de novo synthesis. Okay? Please try to understand. Now, at the end, you also should know a brief summary of fatty acid synthesis, right? Now, with this learning objective, let us go into the detail. Now, coming to the de novo synthesis of fatty acid, the site for the de novo synthesis is the liver, adipose tissue, kidney, brain, lung, mammary gland, etc. The subcellular site is the cytosol, and the starting substrate for the synthesis of palmitic acid, which is a 16-carbon fatty acid, is acetyl-CoA, and the other intermediates required for the synthesis is NADPH, ATP and biotin. So as a result, the end product of de novo synthesis is palmitic acid. What are the sources of acetyl-CoA? The pyruvate, which is formed due to glycolysis, is converted to acetyl-CoA in the mitochondria, and that is one of the most important sources. Remember students, that is why we say when you take excess of carbohydrate, it can be converted to fat. So when you are on a weight losing diet, you should restrict your carbohydrate food intake also. The other sources of NADPH are from the HMP shunt pathway, the malic enzyme, cytoplasmic isocitrate dehydrogenase. Now remember, palmitic acid is made up of 16 carbon atoms. You saw in beta oxidation when palmitic acid was broken down, you got 8 molecules of acetyl-CoA, right? In a similar manner, for the synthesis of palmitic acid, you require 8 molecules of acetyl-CoA, out of which 7 are entering into the synthesis as acetyl-CoA and 1 is entering as such. Okay, so remember, you require 8 molecules of acetyl-CoA, out of which 7 are converted to malonyl-CoA and then it enters the synthesis, whereas 1 molecule enters as such. What are the stages of fatty acid synthesis? One is transport of acetyl-CoA from, see, the de novo synthesis takes place in the in the cytosol. Yes, so the acetyl-CoA and NADPH from the mitochondria has to be transported to the cytosol. The next step is conversion of all these 7 molecules of acetyl-CoA to malonyl-CoA. Then these acetyl-CoA and malonyl-CoA are attached to fatty acid synthase complex for the de novo synthesis. Now, let us see how this acetyl-CoA is transported from the mitochondria to the cytosol. Now, the acetyl-CoA students, as such, they are not permeable through the mitochondrial membrane. Is that clear? So, how does it reach the cytosol? It has to be converted to citrate. Citrate is permeable through the mitochondrial membrane, and in the cytosol, the citrate is broken down back to acetyl-CoA and oxaloacetate. Now your problem of transport is overcome. It has reached the cytosol for the synthesis of fatty acid, right? Now the oxaloacetate, which is formed in the cytosol, is converted to malate, and then malate is permeable through the mitochondrial membrane, and once it reaches the mitochondrial membrane, it is reconverted back to oxaloacetate. And this is how, students, from the mitochondria, acetyl-CoA is transported to the cytosol. Now the two enzymes mainly involved in the biosynthesis are acetyl-CoA carboxylase and fatty acid synthase complex. Acetyl-CoA carboxylase is the key regulatory enzyme of fatty acid biosynthesis. Now, the other one is fatty acid synthase complex. Now, I told you in the very beginning, students, to synthesize a molecule of palmitic acid, you require 8 molecules of acetyl-CoA. I also mentioned to you all that only 1 ml acetyl-CoA enters as such. The remaining 7 are converted to malonyl-CoA. Now, how does this conversion take place? This conversion takes place in the presence of an enzyme called as acetyl-CoA carboxylase. It fixes carbon dioxide to acetyl-CoA, and the source for this carbon dioxide is bicarbonate. And remember, you have studied in your enzyme topic that is carboxylase requires biotin as a coenzyme. So these 7 molecules of acetyl-CoA in the presence of acetyl-CoA carboxylase is converted to malonyl-CoA. And remember, students, the regulatory enzymes of de novo synthesis of fatty acid is nothing but acetyl-CoA carboxylase. Now, so to memorize again, carboxylation of acetyl-CoA takes place by acetyl-CoA carboxylase. It requires bicarbonate, biotin and ATP. It is a 2-step process, that is, in the presence of ATP, this biotin of biotinyl enzyme is carboxylated, that is, biotin is carboxylated, and after that the carboxyl group is transferred to acetyl-CoA, and then to form it is transferred to acetyl-CoA to form malonyl-CoA. I repeat once again, in the presence of ATP, biotin is carboxylated. Now this carboxyl group from biotin is transferred to acetyl-CoA to form malonyl-CoA. And I also mentioned that it is the regulatory step of de novo synthesis of fatty acid. So, what you are supposed to know in detail is nothing but the fatty acid synthase complex. I repeat once again, rather than the de novo synthesis, you should be thorough with the fatty acid synthase complex. Remember, students, this is an example for multi-enzyme complex. Basically, it is a dimer made up of 2 monomers, and at the same time I am telling you it is active only as a dimer and not as a monomer. Each monomer is identical and it is made up of 7 enzymes and 1 acyl carrier protein. Remember, it is a dimer and it is active only as a dimer, not as a monomer. Each monomer is identical, made up of 7 enzymes and 1 carrier protein. Now, each monomer, students, are organized into 3 domains, that is, the condensing unit, the reduction unit and the releasing unit. Now, the condensing unit is made up of 3 enzymes, that is, ketoacyl synthase, acetyl transacylase and malonyl transacylase, wherein the reduction unit is made up of 3 enzymes and 1 carrier protein. The 3 enzymes are enoyl reductase, dehydratase and ketoacyl reductase. Okay, and finally you have a carrier protein called as acyl carrier protein that constitutes the reduction unit. Finally, you have the releasing unit, which is made up of a single enzyme called as thioesterase. I repeat again, students, each monomer is organized into 3 domains, that is condensing unit, reduction unit and releasing unit. In the condensing unit you have 3 enzymes, in the reduction unit you have 3 enzymes, totally 6 enzymes till now. plus a carrier protein ACP, and the releasing unit has one enzyme, that is 6 plus 1, that is totally 7 enzymes and one carrier protein. So here this structure should be written properly, students. These are the two monomers made up of 3 domains having 7 enzymes and one carrier protein. The two monomers are arranged in a head to tail manner. Can you see the head to tail manner? And remember, the phosphopentadiene sulfohydryl group of one monomer is in close proximity with the cysteine sulfohydryl group of the other monomer. Functionally, students, the fatty acid synthase complex has 2 functional units. Each functional unit is made up of 1/2 of one portion of one monomer and the complementary portion of the other monomer. That is why we say the fatty acid synthase complex is active only as a dimer and not as a monomer, because the functional unit will have one portion from one monomer and the remaining portion from the other monomer. That is the reason why we say that it is functional only as a dimer. Is that clear? So to memorize what we have studied, coming to this thing, you remember the cysteine sulfohydryl group of one monomer is in close proximity with the phosphopentadiene sulfohydryl group of the other monomer. Okay, and functional unit consists of 1/2 of one monomer interacting with the complementary half of the other monomer. Now, because as there are 2 functional units, there is simultaneous synthesis of 2 chains of fatty acid. Remember, so there are 2 acyl chains synthesized simultaneously. Why? The reason being simple, because it has 2 functional units. Now, briefly I will let you know the synthesis as such. Remember, students, you all didn't know the steps. I just want to emphasize on the point that to synthesize palmitic acid, which is the most abundantly formed fatty acid in the body, is palmitic acid. It is made up of 16 carbon atoms. So to synthesize the 16 carbon atom, you require 8 molecules of acetyl-CoA, out of which 7 enter as malonyl-CoA. Now let us see what happens. Initially, the acetyl-CoA will attach itself to the ACP of fatty acid synthase complex. Clear? Okay. So because of this reaction, you get what is called as acetyl ACP, and the enzyme involved here is acetyl transcyclase. Okay. Then once acetyl goes and attaches itself, it moves from the ACP portion to the cysteine portion. Now the ACP portion is free, malonyl-CoA comes and attaches itself there, and it forms what is called as malonyl ACP. Okay. Now once malonyl ACP is formed, both acetyl and malonyl will interact with, and condensation reaction takes place. So you have acetyl malonyl ACP formed. Now once acetyl malonyl ACP is formed, carbon dioxide is removed from that component and it forms what is called as beta keto acyl ACP. Okay, and the enzyme is keto acyl synthase. Carbon dioxide is formed. Now this beta keto acyl ACP then undergoes reduction at the beta position to form beta hydroxy acyl ACP, and the hydrogen for this reaction is got from NADPH forming NADP. Now this beta hydroxy acyl ACP undergoes what is called as dehydration reaction, and it forms what is called as delta squared trans-enoyl ACP. Is that clear? it is almost the opposite of what you have seen in beta oxidation. Finally, this under delta square trans-enoyl ACP undergoes reduction, and for this the hydrogen is got by NADPH getting converted to NADP, okay, and the enzyme is enoyl reductase. You get SiACP. Now once this acyl, the process goes on 7 times, so a chain which contains 16 carbon atoms are attached to ACP. Now finally this acyl ACP, the acyl group from acyl ACP is released by the addition of water in the presence of an enzyme called as thioesterase, releasing palmitic acid, and the fatty acid synthase complex is free. So this is what you are supposed to know in the de novo biosynthesis. You didn't know the step. As of now, you just remember to synthesize one molecule of palmitic acid, you require 7 molecules of malonyl-CoA, 1 molecule of acetyl-CoA. That is most important. Understood? How is malonyl-CoA formed? It is formed by the conversion of acetyl-CoA, meaning to say acetyl-CoA gets carboxylated in the presence of acetyl-CoA carboxylase, which requires biotin as the coenzyme utilizing ATP. The source of carbon dioxide is bicarbonate. Remember, the regulatory enzyme is nothing but acetyl-CoA carboxylase. Is that clear? Now let us know the difference between the synthesis of fatty acid and breakdown of fatty acid. Now breakdown you have seen beta oxidation, and synthesis we just studied here. Now if you remember, where exactly in the cell beta oxidation takes place? It takes place in the mitochondria, whereas the synthesis takes place in the cytosol. The intermediates of beta oxidation are as coenzyme A derivatives, whereas here the intermediates are attached to ACP of fatty acid synthase complex. The enzymes involved in beta oxidation are independent enzymes, but those involved in fatty acid synthesis are multi-enzyme complex. In beta oxidation, 2 carbon atoms are released as acetyl-CoA, but remember here in fatty acid synthesis, 2 carbon atoms are added as malonyl-CoA. The coenzyme required for beta oxidation are NAD and FAD, wherein in fatty acid biosynthesis they use NADPH, not NAD but NADPH, ATP and biotin. The transporter required for beta oxidation is nothing but carnitine, whereas for the synthesis you require citrate. So the end product of beta oxidation is acetyl-CoA, and that of de novo synthesis is palmitic acid. Okay. Now coming to the regulation, you just remember the de novo regulation of fatty acid is by short-term regulation. At the gene level it is by induction and repression. The short-term regulation is basically by allosteric regulation and covalent modification. The allosteric modification is nothing but, that is, you know, the key enzyme is acetyl-CoA carboxylase. Citrate, where citrate it will stimulate acetyl-CoA carboxylase, whereas palmitic acid will inhibit the enzyme acetyl-CoA carboxylase, as well as it will inhibit the formation of NADPH. Is that clear? This is allosteric modification. When it comes to covalent modification, students, remember this point, that is acetyl-CoA carboxylase is active in dephosphorylated form, and glucagon and epinephrine actually phosphorylates acetyl-CoA carboxylase, thereby inhibiting that particular enzyme. So the synthesis of fatty acid is decreased when there is glucagon and epinephrine release, whereas insulin actually converts the phosphorylated form into the dephosphorylated form. Is that clear? So insulin favors de novo synthesis, whereas glucagon inhibits de novo synthesis. Now the key points you have to remember is, when the primer for the de novo synthesis is acetyl-CoA, an even carbon compound of fatty acid is synthesized, and this acetyl-CoA becomes the 15th and the 16th carbon atom of palmitic acid. Okay. Subsequent C2 units are added as malonyl-CoA, and this synthesis takes place in the palmitic acid synthesis takes place in the liver and adipose tissue. Now, if you need the synthesis of odd number carbon atom of fatty acid, then the primer is not acetyl-CoA, it has to be started as propionyl-CoA. Is that clear? So that is about fatty acid synthesis. I hope you have understood. And in lactating mammary gland, the C8, C10, C12 are the end products. Remember, in lactating mammary gland, C8, C10 and C12 are the end products. Okay. So these are the points you got.